Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of I'ma Say It. I'm Brandon, your host, and I'm here to say it. I think the NFL is shaping up to be a fun season. We're going to see a lot of teams struggle. We're going to see a lot of teams prevail. And this is how I think that the NFL is going to shape up this season, just looking at going into this preseason. This is not a power rankings. This is not ranked 1 through 32. These teams are not necessarily in order. But I think from who's going to be feeding at the bottom versus who's going to be feasting at the top. Starting at the very bottom of the tiers, we're going to start off with could we be worse, and we're going to start with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't believe in the coach. I don't believe in the quarterback. The film that we've seen coming from training camp hasn't looked great. They have a lot of receivers, or they have a decent pair of receivers. They have a decent defense. I like the running back, Jonathan Taylor. I just don't believe in the coach-quarterback combination, and therefore I think that this team is going to have a hard time getting to 5 wins, especially in a getting tougher AFC South division. Then we have Cleveland up in the AFC North, and I just don't see them getting to 5 wins either. I think if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. They've got 4, and they're all about equally the same. Now, I know Joe Flacco, he is a Super Bowl champion, and towards the end of his career, unfortunately, Joe Flacco just with that. I think that they're all potentially second-round draft picks, and so I don't think that the Cleveland Browns have done a great job in the draft this year and handling that whole situation. I think Kevin Stefanski has underachieved with a very loaded roster, and he should be looked at under a microscope. And then we have the New Orleans Saints, and I know Kellen Moore's down there, and I liked him as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller. As a head coach, we don't know what he's going to be, unfortunately, with the quarterback situation down there. I think it's going to be tough for him to get to 5 wins. And so that's going to be the NFC South is going to be, I think it's going to be closer between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. So the Saints are going to have a really hard time, especially with the quarterback room, getting to 5 wins. Most intriguing, I think these teams could go one way or the other. Typically, I think that they're going to be more towards the bottom of the league than towards the top, but I could be very wrong. Starting with the Seattle Seahawks, I just don't believe in Sam Darnold. I know he had JJ up there in Minnesota, and he did a great job last year. If he can sustain that success, I think the Seattle Seahawks in that division will be competing with the Rams. Unfortunately, I just don't see that happening. And then we have the Jets. So Justin Fields going over there, the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, a lot of pressure on the Jets right now, especially week 1 against Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that this team is very interesting. I like Aaron Glenn as a defensive coordinator. I think he's got a lot of pressure on him. So this is a very interesting team. I think they're going to be more towards the bottom, but they could very well be a dark horse. Now, Carolina is going to play spoiler for a lot of people this year because Carolina is going to be a lot better than what people think. Towards the end of last year, they did really, really well. They were pulling it together. Bryce Young was starting to be a quarterback. And so I'm really excited about their offensive weapons, the defensive side of the ball. Bryce Young getting better in his 3rd year, going into, I believe this is his 3rd year. And so Carolina's going to be a lot better. They're going to be a very interesting team going into this season. They're going to be one of the teams to watch. All of these teams are going to be great to watch through the first 5 games. The Arizona Cardinals, again, I don't believe in the coach and quarterback. However, I do think that Kyler Murray is a very athletic ball player. And so being able to play the football and baseball position, I know he can throw the ball and get it where he needs to. He's got some stud receivers, got a nice running back, got a great run game. Defense is good. They got a bit of Baker back there. I don't believe in the coach. And so I think this is going to be hard for the Cardinals. However, that roster is pretty good. So the Arizona Cardinals could absolutely compete in that division. And then we have the New York Giants in the NFC East. And unfortunately, with that, the NFC East is just loaded. Between the Cowboys, Commanders, and Eagles, Eagles are built to last. I don't believe in Russell Wilson to the extent that he can save Coach Daboll's job. I think that they have good offensive weapons. I like Tracy Jr. as the running back. I like Malik Neighbors. And I know they got better in the draft. The defensive side of the ball, they got better. I really like what the Giants have done, even after the Saquon Barkley debacle. And so they're going to be interesting through the first 5-6 games. How long before we see Jackson Dart is really my question. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now they are typically, I think that in that division they can compete. I think it's going to be between them and the Houston Texans competing for that division. I like Cohen as a coach, working with Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence really can play. I know he needs help. They got Travis Hunter along with Brian Thomas Jr. They got that tight end Strange. I like what they've done offensively. They've got ETN. They got a good run game, good defense. Trevor Lawrence can play. They're going to be interesting through the first 5-6 games. And then obviously, Pete Carroll and Geno Smith going down to Oakland, Tom Brady's team. I'm really curious to see what the Oakland Raiders do this year. I don't think that the AFC West is wide open. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be there for a while. However, I think the Raiders this year through the first 5-6 games are going to be very interesting to watch, and it's going to tell a lot of what their season's going to be throughout the year. And then we get into our rookie-ish quarterbacks. Most of these quarterbacks we didn't see for the whole season, or we didn't see at all. Starting with Drake May, we saw a little bit of Drake May, and what I saw of Drake I really, really liked. With the addition of Stephon Diggs and the addition of Mike Vrabel as the head coach, I really like the direction that the New England Patriots are going. I think that they are going to be a playoff team. I think that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. They're going to play spoiler for a lot of people. So if you have them as a for sure win, don't count them out. Minnesota Vikings, when you have Justin Jefferson, you can really, as long as you got a quarterback that can put it in a nice window for him, he's going to make a play. And so J.J. McCarthy, I really liked him in Michigan. I think that he is, if you don't ask too much of him, can really do the little things really nicely. I think he's got good poise, good moxie. He's tough in the pocket. So he's got to stay healthy. But I really like J.J. McCarthy. I don't have a whole lot of expectations for him going in. If any of these quarterbacks don't work this year, I do expect him to get a little better. The only one I will say is Cam Ward. I have absolutely no expectations for. Coming in as a true rookie, I don't think that was a very good draft class. If he can win some games down there in Tennessee, which I think he'll win some games down there in Tennessee, I think that they're going to be tough matchup. I think they're going to play football, and so I'm really excited to see what they do. But I don't have hardly any expectations for Cam Ward. With Michael Penix down there in Atlanta, they've got a great set of weapons down there on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I really like Michael Penix. He's shown that he can play a little bit. Bijan Robinson down there. I don't exactly expect the Falcons to make a playoff push, but I do expect them to play really good football, and they're going to upset a lot of people. And then Caleb Williams. I know this is year 2 for Caleb Williams, and we seen him all last year, but this is his first year with Ben Johnson, and so I'm really kind of excited to see him in a decent offense. Rome Odunze and DJ Moore. I would like to see good play calling there and really play to the strengths of Caleb Williams. I do think he's very athletic. I watched him beat Texas as a freshman coming in second half for OU. The kid can play a little bit. And so we're getting with a good offensive coach. I think that the Bears can finally have a good quarterback season. Now these teams, what happens when we make the playoffs? These teams can be one and done. These teams can go all the way. And that's the we're going to start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. With T.J. Watt signing his contract, with Aaron Rodgers. Now I understand that I would like the run game to be a little better. Hopefully they've gotten a little better on the offensive line. The addition of DK Metcalf alongside Aaron Rodgers. I like the receiver room a little bit. You don't have guys that are just flashy and like top notch, but at the same time, like you got a good set of receivers that'll catch the ball, run good routes, and do the little things right. And so I really like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they can go a long way. I've got them finishing somewhere between like 11-6 and like Their ceiling is, to me, like 13-4, 14-3. And so then we got the Miami Dolphins, and it's kind of time for Tua, Tyreek, and Jalen Waddle. The question is can Tua stay healthy? If Tua can stay healthy, they've got a good quarterback. If they've got definitely have a good pair of receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I like Achane down there. Their defense just got better with Mika Fitzpatrick, and so Miami can be one and done, and they can make a deep run. They're going to be competitive in the AFC this year, I believe, as long as Tua can stay healthy. Cincinnati, I really like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think that's the best receiver duo in the league. T. Higgins on most teams is a number one. Jamar Chase is definitely a number one. You put those two side by side with a guy like Yoshi Voss, and you got Sample at tight end, Hurst when he's healthy. I really like the offensive side of the ball. Unfortunately, the defense can't stop a nosebleed. And so the question is really, can your defense get a stop? And with them not signing Hendricks, that this is going to be, I'm not even 100% sure that they make the playoffs. I think Zach Taylor's going to be looking for a job. And then we're going to go with the Cowboys. I think that this year is the best the Cowboys has looked for a long time. I know we've had Amari Cooper, we've had Dez Bryant. I know we've had some really, really nice receivers come in and out of the lineup for 30 years. Dak coming off an injury, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, that is going to be really, really nice. I like that our running back room got better with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. I like that our defense, I know Mike is holding out, not getting the contract done. That's just part of what the Cowboys do. You know your money's coming. You know you're going to be the number one paid. And to be honest with you, you don't have a defensive player of the year. So for you to say that you deserve more money than TJ Watt or Myles Garrett, I think is ridiculous. Just being real. Now, do you deserve to be the third highest? Absolutely. But until you win Defensive Player of the Year, you definitely don't deserve to be the highest. Moving backwards, I think the Detroit Lions are moving backwards this year. I don't think that they're going to win the NFC North. However, I don't think that they're not going to make the playoffs. Dan Campbell is a guy that when he talks, he makes you want to lace up. The defense got healthier. The Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff, they're just going to get better with another year together. I really like what they've done, but I think losing both coordinators is really big. I think they're going to take a minor step back. I don't think they're going to make the NFC Championship, but I do think that they are a playoff contender. San Francisco 49ers. I think Christian McCaffrey is still one of the top 10 running backs in the league. I'm not sure that he's the best running back in the league right now. I know last year he took all last year off. Part of it, I don't think he was injured. I think part of it was just like, hey, we're done. I'm going to get my health back, which is good. Get the rest, get healthy. So I think this year he's going to come back and he's going to be great. I don't think the O-line's going to be as good as it's been. I don't think the defense is as good as it's been. I do like the addition of Robert Saleh being back in the defensive coordinator spot. I think that he had them playing lights out. I think that the Niners can get back to that. Unfortunately, losing Deebo Samuel is also big. And so I don't necessarily think that they're not going to be a playoff team. I don't know. I think they're going to finish second under the Rams. But the NFC is still kind of wide open. I mean, there's not really, other than the Eagles, there's not really a powerhouse that you could say is in the NFC. And also, I think the Buffalo Bills are moving backwards. I'm not 100% sure they got better. I know that they win. I think that the Miami Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Jets got better. And so the Bills may not win that division. Now, do I think they're a playoff team? Absolutely. What's their ceiling? AFC Championship game. That's what Josh Allen has shown that he can do. Now, the question is, coming off that MVP, is he going to be able to sustain success and actually elevate his team and get his team over the hump? And in Buffalo, that's really hard to do. We believe we got better. We're not 100% sure we got better, but we think we did. Sean Payton with the Broncos and Bo Nix. I like the secondary of Pat Surtain. When you got a guy like Patrick Surtain, you've got a defense that has a chance. I really like what that defense is. I like the offensive side of the ball. but I'm not 100% sure that they got better. I do think that they are a playoff team. I think that it's going to be tough. I think they have a way. I think they are able to compete with Kansas City. I don't think they're going to knock Kansas City off, but I do think that they got better, and I think that we're going to see them be more towards the top half of the league. The Houston Texans, they got healthier for sure on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. C.J. Stroud entering his third year. Now that he's had his sophomore slump, I expect him to have a bounce back year. I think that they're still going to win the division. I think it's going to be between them and Jacksonville. But I'm not sure that they really got better other than they got healthier. Now, the Green Bay Packers, I would like to think they got better. They definitely added a really good receiver in Matthew Golden. I really like the progression that Jordan Love has made. I'm not 100% sold on Jordan Love yet. To me, he's not Aaron Rodgers, but he is a competent quarterback. Here's where I'm not 100% sure that you got better. You released Jair Alexander, and now he's with the Ravens, and so defensively, I think that you are going to give up a lot more points. And Jair was a big reason, and I understand that he wasn't there every game. I understand there was on the field issues, off the field. I understand all that, but he's still an elite corner, and to get rid of him, I'm not 100% sure that you got better. I would like to think the Chargers got better. I'm not 100% sure on this. I do like Jim Harbaugh in his second year with the. I think they are going to be. I think they are going to be more competitive. I think they're going to be a harder-nosed team. I don't necessarily believe in Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert's a little overrated. He's athletic. He has decent arm strength, and I think people overlook arm strength for arm talent. And he's just not that elite of a quarterback. But I do like him at the quarterback position. I think he looks like a quarterback, and if Jim Harbaugh can get him playing to the level that he looks like he can play at, this is going to be a powerhouse team. And these teams are just simply overlooked, starting with the Rams. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, alongside Matthew Stafford, is dangerous. Not to mention Williams at running back. The defense, I think, is a lot better. Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league. He's one of the best offensive minds in the league. And so, no matter what your opinion is of him, he is a Super Bowl champ. Matthew Stafford is a Super Bowl champ. I think that this team is very overlooked. I think this team wins the NFC West, and it's not even close because Devontae Adams, to me, is the third best receiver in the league, alongside Puka Nacua, who is arguably a top 10 receiver. That's a deadly combination. So I expect them to be competing for the 1 seed come playoffs. And then Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know what everybody's disrespect level is with Baker Mayfield, but I like his poise, I like his moxie, I like his arm strength, I like his arm talent. He can put the ball in tight windows. He had honestly an MVP case last year. I felt like he got overlooked. I know Todd Bowles is overlooked as a head coach. Now that his receivers are healthy and he's not throwing a second and third stringers, I expect this team to be a lot better than they were last year, and I expect them to make a deep run in the playoffs. And then the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels just makes it look easy back there. There's not a whole lot Jaden Daniels really can't do. And at first I thought it was laziness, and then I just realized, man, he just makes it look that easy. I know that Scary Terry's got his contract situation going on. As of right now, I don't know if it got settled. I actually haven't looked at that. But I know they got the addition of Deebo Samuel. And when you put Deebo with Scary Terry, that's going to be a nice combination, along with the running back and the running game they have. And then Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is one of the best defensive coaches in the league, if not the best defensive coach in the league. And so he had my Cowboys playing lights out. I was really sad to see him go. If anything, I wanted to see him be the next head coach. And so Washington got a good one, and they're going to be competitive for a very, very long time. And we haven't had a back-to-back NFC East winner, and so it would not surprise me if the Commanders actually won the NFC East. Built for a dynasty, and we're going to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, that GM, Howie Roseman, has done a great job from top to bottom with the addition of Saquon Barkley. I mean, when you have an O-line built like that, and a running back as elite as Saquon Barkley, and he's not taking hits, and he can do a reverse hurdle over your guy, this team is going to sustain success. The tush push is not banned, so Jalen Hurts, he's what makes that thing go. Being able to squat 600 pounds helps a lot, especially when you have big guys coming at you and you're just moving the pile with your legs. And so people don't take into credit that. I think Jalen Hurts would be a great running back or a linebacker. I think he would find success in both positions just because he's that much of an athlete and that much of a star. The quarterback position, I think that they're going to continue to keep the ball out of his hands. And so if they can sustain success from last year and not have a Super Bowl hangover, the Eagles could be competitive and built to last for a long time. And then we have the Baltimore Ravens with the additional D-Hop, Jair Alexander, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, the weapons they got on offense, the weapons they got on defense. They're built to win now. And if they can keep everybody under contract and find a way to pay all these guys, this team is going to be built to last for a while. Every year, year in, year out, it's Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen taking on Patrick Mahomes. And so I think that they're going to continue to be where they've been. The ceiling is Super Bowl for this team. If Lamar Jackson doesn't get over the hump, it's going to be a failure. And then who else but the Kansas City Chiefs? Guys, Rashee Rice got his I know we're waiting on what the NFL is going to give him as far as game suspension. I'm not even worried about Rashee Rice being there, even though he's a great number one receiver. He's a really good receiver. They have Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, and that bad man of Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is coaching them. The offense just got better. Not to mention Spagnuolo and that defense. That defense plays lights out. These guys are going to be in the AFC Championship game no matter what. So count it, 12-5, 12 wins or more for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now let's talk coaches for a minute, and we're going to start with Zach Taylor. I don't know what your opinion is on Joe Burrow. I think it is Patrick Mahomes, and you can say Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson for number 2, and then I personally have Jaden Daniels at 4, and then Josh Allen at 5. But to have a quarterback as elite as Joe Burrow, and to have a combination tandem of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and you're putting up these 49-point games, you should be winning these games. You win a couple of those games, a couple of those shootouts, right? Because your defense can't stop a nosebleed. You win a couple of those shootouts, and you make it to the playoffs. I think that this team is a playoff team. I don't believe in Zach Taylor as a head coach. I think that after this year, we need to be really looking at Zach Taylor under the microscope, because he needs to be looking for a job next year. Now, as a head coach, I wouldn't hire him. As an offensive coordinator, you've had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I'm not 100% sure on what you can do. Brian Daboll is a victim of the Saquon Barkley thing. I put that on the GM 100%. Now, I know that he chose to pay Daniel Jones, but he had Daniel Jones winning a playoff game. And so when you have a coach like Brian Daboll who can coach Josh Allen, can coach Daniel Jones, get Daniel Jones winning, I really like what you can do there. Now you have Russell Wilson, and I don't think Russell Wilson is enough. I don't think Jackson Dart, being this young, is going to be enough to take your team to the playoffs. I think that you and the GM are both going to get fired, and it's unfortunate because Brian Daboll deserves a coaching job. He's a really good coach. I've heard nothing but great things from every player that's ever played from him. And so I like what he does. And so he is a victim of circumstance. Mike McDaniel, it is time for you to put up. You have Tua. And I know he's had health injuries. But I don't believe in Quinn Ewers either. You could have done a whole lot better in the draft getting a quarterback. At this point, Shedeur Sanders was still on the board. And so there's a lot of things that I felt like you guys could have done. You didn't do. That with the running game and the receivers that you have, your defense just got better. It is time for you to make a deep playoff push. It is time to dethrone the Buffalo Bills. And I'm not sure that the team can do it. And a lot of that, again, probably is going to fall under health. but they could have got a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers. I watched him. I'm a huge Longhorn fan. We should have kept Arch Manning in there. When you have two quarterbacks and it's both of them are competing for the Heisman Trophy in Week 4, that says something about your quarterback. And so when Quinn Ewers was really not feeling the pressure and couldn't put it up, it's time to do something. Steve Sarkisian missed that one, but it's okay because Shark is a really good coach. And then the Arizona coach, Jonathan, man, if you do not make the playoffs with this roster in a less than perfect NFC West, it's time for you to go. You've not made the playoffs at all. I think that you have a really good group of receivers. I think that you have Trey McBride. I think your defense is pretty good. You got Budda Baker back there. I think that if you do not make the playoffs, then you're going to be, if you start 0-5, because I have the Cardinals, we're having a really hard time getting to 5 wins. You're probably looking for the job come week 6, week 7, if you don't get fired early. So this is literally just a motivation segment for you. It's time to get that team and get that team playing the way that you need to get that team playing. I understand Kyler Murray likes video games. Play Madden with him. And then Aaron Glenn, you've got to be feeling all kinds of pressure right now. You had Aaron Rodgers fly himself out on his own dime for a 5-minute conversation of, hey, we don't need you anymore. You could have just sent that in text, homie. So now I love to see that you have a head coaching job. And I don't think that you're on the hot seat or should get fired. But if the Steelers make the playoff run that I think they're capable of making, it's going to put a lot of pressure on you next year. And we're going to be talking about it. Another coach that should be feeling heat is Kevin Stefanski. When Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Nick Chubb, not to mention everybody on that defense, you had a loaded defense and a really great squad. I know you were coach of the year. I still feel like you underachieved having that talented of a roster, and you can put all that on a young Baker Mayfield if you want to. But what have you done since then? So. The Browns, you really should. You guys botched it. You guys botched this one. Kevin Stefanski, you're probably going to be looking for a job next year. Todd Bowles is feeling heat, and he shouldn't be. Baker Mayfield was throwing the 2s and 3s and still winning games. Still putting up numbers. And this year, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are going to be healthy. I like what they've done on the defensive side of the ball. I think Vita Vea is one of the greatest interior defensive linemen I've ever seen. I really like Levante David. Corners are getting better. Todd Bowles is a really good defensive coach, really good head coach. I really like what he's done in the league. Even having Tom Brady, I still like what he's done in the league. So Todd Bowles is a great coach. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they know who they got. Shoddy, you are feeling some heat. You are feeling some heat from all of us Cowboy fans. We don't know you. We know your dad. Your dad was a good coach. I actually coached with one of your dad's players, and so it's really fun, really neat. But we are built to win. We're built to win right now. We have the highest paid quarterback. We have CeeDee Lamb is making top money. Micah Parsons is about to get paid. It is time. We are ready to win. We are ready to win now. And Shoddy, I'm not 100% sold on that you can do it. I have faith in you because you are my coach. I don't have a choice in that, and so I'm believing in you. Let's go get this thing done this year. 30-year rematch between the Steelers and the Cowboys. I just see it coming now. Yeah, who's hiring? Mike McCarthy needs a job. This is still a Super Bowl winning coach, great offensive coordinator. He can do multiple things. Now, I understand sometimes he misses calls, and I get that. But he's still one of the best coaches without a job. And I'm seeing a lot of these guys like Taylor and Gunnan and all the. Mike McCarthy deserves a job, and so whoever's hiring, he's your next coach. Breaking down the NFC South, this is usually one of the weakest divisions in football. Believe it or not, this could actually be one of the strongest divisions in football. However, with the young quarterbacks and Michael Penix, And then excuse me. So let's start with the Saints going against the Cardinals. This to me is a toss-up game. I think they could. I have them. Pull my notes up here real quick. I have them losing this game. To me, this is a toss-up game. Unfortunately, I don't believe in the quarterback. I believe in Brock Purdy a little better than I believe in Tyler Shook. I definitely don't believe in Spencer Rattler. Sam Darnold, this is really a toss-up game because I don't know what Sam Darnold's really going to be, especially up there in Seattle. I don't think Seattle's going to be that good. So this could be a win for, we'll say this is a win in the 12th man against Sam Darnold. Week 4 at Buffalo against Josh Allen, I think you lose, even though they take a step back. I think the Giants beat you. I think the Patriots beat you. I think the Bears beat you. I think the Bucks beat you. I think the Rams beat you. Carolina, it's a division game. You could split with them. You could split with the Falcons. I think if Tua's healthy, if Ewers is back there, you might have a chance. If Tua's back there, I think you get beat. I think Baker beat you twice. Sure, you split with Carolina. Now the Jets, I think, is a toss-up game because that can go one way or another. I think the defense is going to be tough, and so I don't really trust your quarterback over that defense. Cam Ward, that's a toss-up game. I think you're better. I think you're going to be better than Cam Ward. I think you're going to be better than Tennessee Titans. I'm not 100% sure. You could lose that game. Maybe you split with the Falcons. I got you finishing at 5-12. The over/under, I got you taking the under. Breaking down the Falcons schedule, lose to Tampa, lose to Minnesota, win at Carolina, lose at Washington. They got a bye week that's way too early. Lose to the Bills. It's a toss-up game between them and the Niners. I think they lose to Miami if Tua's healthy. They can beat the Patriots, but I think that one's going to be really close. The Saints, I think they could beat twice, maybe split. Win against the Jets, a win against Seattle, loss against Tampa. Arizona's kind of a toss-up game. Maybe you win that one, maybe you lose that one. And then you're going to lose the Rams. And then week 18, you got the Saints. And so you might be able to pull a win out there. Got you at 6-11, finishing with the under. Going into Carolinas, I think that you could beat Jacksonville. To me, this was a toss-up game. Maybe you lose that one. You win at Arizona. You start the season off 1-1. Maybe split with Atlanta. Beat the Patriots, maybe. Just because Drake May is a young quarterback, and I really think that Carolina is really pulling this thing together. Lose at Dallas. Lose at Miami. Win at the Jets, lose at the Bills, lose at Green Bay, win at the Saints, win at Atlanta. The Niners, to me, is actually a toss-up game. We'll say you lose to the Niners, you lose to the Rams. Your bye week is way too late, but you're really going to need that rest because you come in New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Tampa Bay. I think they split with Tampa. Win at Seattle and lose to and like I said, they split with the Saints, finishing their season at 7-10. I got them taking the over. And then last, we're gonna look at the Bucks, and to me, they are one of the most disrespected teams in the league right now. And I've got them. I've got Baker being better than Michael Penix. I've got Baker being better than C.J. Stroud. I have Baker being better than Justin Fields. I think that they lose to the Eagles and beat the lose to the Eagles. I think Baker Mayfield is better than Sam Darnold. I think Baker Mayfield is better than Brock Purdy. It's a toss-up game between the Lions. I think the defense is going to be better because they're going to be healthier. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be able to eat against that defense. I don't think the Saints get a win this year. They usually play the Bucks twice. They play the Bucks twice, and they usually play really, really well throughout the regular season against the Bucks. I just don't see it this year. Again, Drake May. Buffalo, I think he beats Josh Allen this year. in Buffalo at Orchard Park. So on Monday Night Football, November the 16th, or not Monday Night Football, I'm sorry. On November the 16th, I don't know if it's Monday Night Football, but Orchard Park, at Orchard Park, expect fireworks. Baker Mayfield gets in a shootout and wins against Josh Allen. Lose to the Rams. The Rams, I think, are really good. I think they're going to make a really deep run in the playoffs. Cardinals, they beat. I think Baker Mayfield's better than Kyler Murray. I think Baker Mayfield's better than Tyler Shook. I think Baker Mayfield's better than Michael Penix. And I think they split with Carolina because Carolina is really starting to figure things out, and they beat Tua. And so I've got them finishing at 11-6 again with the over against the Bucs. And so I have the NFC South rankings going into this preseason with the Buccaneers finishing 11-6, Panthers coming in second at 7-10, Falcons 6-11, and Saints 5-12. Guys, that is all the time we have for you today for the I'ma Say It podcast. If you have not hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. We are on all social media platforms. Look forward to hearing from you. I'm Brandon. Peace.